Today I worked at Wegmans from 9:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. I took my first 15-minute break at 1:30 p.m. Took my 30-minute lunch at 4 p.m. And my second and last 15-minute break at 5:30 p.m. around that time. Immediately after my shift, my dad drove me back to his place, which is where me and I had a sort of party between me and him. For the Super Bowl game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. We both wanted the San Francisco 49ers to win. Because we didn't want the Kansas City Chiefs to win. As they had won the Super Bowl enough. I recall the game lasted roughly from 6:30 p.m. to it ended somewhere between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. And it only lasted as long as it did. Because the game went into overtime. At the end of the fourth quarter, the score was 1919. After I recall, during the first and second quarters, the San Francisco 49ers got in the lead first by eventually 10 points. And then later in the game, during the second and third quarters, roughly around that time, the Kansas City Chiefs gradually got their score up to 6 points and then got in the lead after getting a touchdown and then making the extra point kick. Then the San Francisco 49ers got back in the lead with another touchdown. At which point the score was 19 for the San Francisco 49ers and 16 for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the Kansas City Chiefs tied it with a field goal. Field goals were also how they first got their score up to 6. And then I recall during overtime, the San Francisco 49ers got a field goal on their possession, but then the Kansas City Chiefs got a touchdown on their possession during the last seconds of overtime and ultimately won the game. I personally wanted the San Francisco 49ers to win. And not just because the Kansas City Chiefs have won the Super Bowl enough, but also because San Francisco is a progressive city, and because I like Colin Kaepernick for what he's done, not just starting the Kneel for Racial Equity campaign, but also he once starred in a road safety commercial on not texting while driving. That I saw on YouTube a while back. If I recall correctly, I searched Colin Kaepernick and in the search results found that video. And I wore my old Colin Kaepernick jersey and some bottom wear that seems to be a blend of shorts and briefs. To the little Super Bowl party. At my dad's place. We first had chips and dip, nacho cheese, Doritos, and Doritos scoops. Bison branded French onion dip. And then we each had one helping each of Americanized Chinese food. In this case, one helping each from a Happy Family party tray Dad got from a nearby Americanized Chinese food restaurant. While I was restocking merchandise within the produce department. and occasionally assisting passing customers who got my attention for assistance. In the vast majority of cases, and me helping them look for a specific product within the produce department. During the Super Bowl game, I recall sipping at two Goat beers and having at least three of a homemade You Whisk Me Off My Feet homemade by my dad. In this case, having Southern Comfort whiskey, cherry or grape flavored vodka, and had Dr. Pepper instead of Pepsi. And mixed in. I had one homemade drink before the first Goat beer, the first large Goat beer, and then two more glasses before the second Goat beer, according to my recollection. I paced myself throughout the whole Super Bowl game and felt perfectly fine after the game. Even after finishing the second large Goat beer afterwards. Though at one point during my shift at Wegmans, relatively early on, I accidentally stepped on a single banana, a regular banana, after, I think if I recall, it was a single banana that had been ripped off of a bunch. And if I recall, a passing customer accidentally knocked it off the section in the very left end of the banana section that's reserved for single bananas, for customers who want single bananas. You can choose whether to have a single banana or a bunch of bananas Bananas being a fresh produce item have a PLU code, which I memorized. So that I could shrink the bananas that were no good, including the one I accidentally stepped on and had to pull and then shrink. Pull by putting it and leaving it on the bottom level of my cart today. I had to pull that banana in particular because when I accidentally stepped on it, I broke the peel or the skin. From here on out, pulling bad produce is just me putting it and leaving it on the bottom level of my cart. And then at the very end of my shift, or around the time of my last 15-minute break, I'll try to shrink everything I can. In this case, I successfully shrunk everything except 2 bags of organic sweet potatoes, small mesh bags, and a container of strawberries in a sort of plastic clamshell of sorts. That, if I recall, either a coworker gave to me at one point because there was some mold among those strawberries, but it wasn't too bad. At another point, while restocking the banana section, I encountered a single banana that was completely rotten because it presumably had been attacked by fruit flies from a bunch that was otherwise healthy. I did what I usually did up until that point, ripping the rotten banana off the rest of the bunch. After lifting it directly above the box where I encountered that bunch, accidentally got some rotten banana on my oldish cut-proof gloves with the brown trim on the bottom of the gloves to indicate my glove size. And some rotten banana got on some of the other bunches that were perfectly fine. And it was more than one bunch, 1 or 2 bunches that had some rotten banana on them. So I took the whole box of bananas into the produce holding area, upon which I showed the rotten banana that got on my right glove, and that I had to wash my cut-proof gloves. But as it turns out, I was then told it was recommended I just throw those gloves away, and so I did. And then I later went to the customer service desk to get a new pair of cut-proof gloves. And I did get a new pair of cut-proof gloves, but I was initially a bit stunned because they looked completely different from what I was used to up until that point. And then And I was later on told essentially that the whole box of bananas had to be thrown away. Apparently, it's not enough to just wash off the rotten banana residue. So, from here on out, I'll probably just pull and shrink the whole bunch if I encounter another bunch with a single banana that had been attacked by fruit flies.